I want to start at the tip top of the sport where Michigan and Arizona both once again dominated the power conference opponent placed right in front of them. Michigan beat Maryland in Maryland 101-83. Arizona beat Alabama in Alabama 96-75. And while all of this was going on, I was sitting there paying attention to social media a little bit, and I saw Matt Norlander and our buddy Pat Forty going back and forth a little bit, wondering out loud, have we reached a point where it's Michigan, Arizona, or the field? I know you push back on that a little bit, but Pat posed it as a possibility. I respect the great Pat Forty. He's wonderful on NCAA conference calls. What do you make of what he suggested, and how close, if we're not there yet, how close are we to wondering, have those two teams separated from everybody else?
We're a ways away. Now, 40, I saw this. I was on the HQ desk on Saturday, and his exact verbiage was, I want to get this exactly as he sent it there, if I can find it in real time, because he tried to preface it before he sent it out there. History is littered with premature November-December college basketball pronouncements, but give me Michigan and Arizona, and I might give you the field. And then I said, okay, those two teams are loaded, but the field includes undefeated as of now Duke, undefeated as of now Iowa State, a UConn team that looks incredible, and its only loss is at home shorthanded to Arizona. You get BYU and Houston, a couple of one-loss teams that are national championship contenders. So we're going to focus in on the A block here a lot on Michigan and Arizona because these are the two teams that have claim to number one status. Arizona is going to hold on to number one in the AP Top 25 when that refreshes on Monday. And Michigan is still the number one team, not in every predictive metric. Shouts to the Massey ratings, which I only recently learned GP's even aware of. Massey does not have Michigan number one, doesn't even have Arizona number one. Massey has Duke at number one, but every other mainstream predictive metric has Michigan at number one. So those two have not. Michigan and Arizona have not separated from the rest of the field. In fact, one of my big takeaways on HQ on Saturday night was we have an extremely deep, overwhelmingly competent field of national championship contenders at this point. That's reflected in where they are in efficiency margins right now. The conversation for number one revolves around two teams, but it's just awesome stuff that we can. We're now 6 full weeks into the season, and from Arizona to Michigan, Duke was idle this weekend. Iowa State obviously played its most notable recent game against Iowa a few days back, but we saw what UConn did. We're going to get to a lot of these results as we move along with the show, GP. The class of team that is in the conversation as a national championship frontrunner, I think, is at least 9 deep at this point, and that is a deeper class right now, in my opinion, than we had a year ago when the SEC was incredible and really in the past decade.
I agree with you on multiple points that you made. One, no, they haven't separated from the field. They are clearly the two teams, in my opinion, that should be under consideration for having a 1 next to their name in any sort of human ranking. But I don't know that they've separated from certainly the other 3 teams in the top 5, notably undefeated Duke, undefeated Iowa State, and 1-loss UConn. Frankly, I'm not sure that full-strength UConn's not the best team in the country. Like you mentioned, there's one computer that says Duke is the best team in the country, and Iowa State won at Purdue by 1 billion. So, yeah, I would take those 3 and like the other 360 and I'd roll with them. But undeniably, Michigan and Arizona are operating at an extremely high level, and they both had games unfold kind of similarly on Saturday. They were both down at the half and then just bombed them in the second half. Michigan was down 50-45, then outscored Maryland 56-33 in the second half to win by 18. Arizona was down 41-39 at the break, outscored Alabama 57-34. I mean, it's almost on the number in the second half to win by 21. Again, the games unfold pretty similarly. And the resumes, it all comes down to how you want to digest them. Like, I knew when I updated the top 25 and 1 this morning, I would get some pushback. I mean, we talked about it on Friday.
What you didn't want to have happen, happened. And we say that like tongue firmly planted in cheek there. But Michigan gets the win, and we're going to talk about each of these games individually, which is overview on this. It gets the win, but it had some struggles early, and then it pulls away and gets 100+ points again. But then Arizona just goes out and puts Bama into the ground in the second half, and it's in Bama's backyard. It's a record. Our research team had 30+ years. Credit to ESPN Stats and Information, which brought it out. Arizona is the only team per ESPN Stats and Info to ever go 5 ranked victories in its first 9 games to start a season. Arizona has now done that. So for every Arizona fan that is really wanting to scream from the mountaintops, we get it. This is just amazing for college hoops right now that we have a discussion like this, and keep it coming, GP. But we haven't tended to say this on the show, but sometimes other pundits they get into this default mode where it's like, are there any great teams in college basketball this season? That is not on the table whatsoever. I really think we could have as many as 7 or 8 great teams this season. Where do you want to dive into first? You want to talk what Arizona did to Bama, or what Michigan did to what wound up being a shorthanded Maryland team?
Well, just to continue a thought, as I'm sitting there last night watching this unfold, it really did unfold terribly for me personally. And that is what I was most concerned with. There was a part of me that was like, okay, Maryland, I didn't think you had it in you, but not that I'm rooting against anybody, but it does make things easier. If Michigan loses and Arizona wins, nobody's fighting between those two teams after that. So I was like, okay, I'm not rooting against anybody, but if Michigan lost, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for my mentions. And or if Arizona lost after Michigan wins, it wouldn't be the worst thing and just neither one of them happened the way I needed them to happen. So I'm left with trying to pick between undefeated teams that have incredibly impressive bodies of work, but very different bodies of work. One of them's got the best resume, like, hey, we've beaten more good teams than anybody else in the country. That is Arizona, although you can nitpick that a little bit. It is true they do have 5 wins over preseason top 25 teams, or 5 wins over teams that were ranked in the time the game was played. But UConn was down 2 starters in the game. I don't have Florida or UCLA ranked anymore.
Right.
So 2 of those 5 teams aren't ranked in the top 25 and 1 anymore, and UConn was down 2 starters. But let me be clear, I'm not here to nitpick anything. They're awesome. I'm just saying if you wanted to discount it a little bit, you could. That's still the best resume in the country, even when somebody like me decides to pick it apart. But then there's Michigan, and they don't have as many great wins, signature wins, but they beat Gonzaga and San Diego State by 40 on neutrals, beat Auburn by 30 on a neutral, beat Villanova by 28 at home, beat Maryland by 18 on the road. They're number 1 at KenPom, Bart Torvik, Evan Mia, Factor Sports. The net rating at KenPom right now is a point better than what Florida finished with last season, when Florida was 36-4 and your national champions. Right now, Michigan has a net rating better than that, which suggests on some level, if Michigan were on a neutral court against anybody today, including Arizona, they would be favored to win the game.
Yeah.
What that also suggests, and I'm not trying to get in the weeds here, but if this season's Michigan was on a neutral court with last season's Florida, the national champions, according to the numbers right now.
Well, that doesn't exactly line up. Every season is unique.
I got it, but you get my point.
It would be like a 1-point spread. Whatever.
It wouldn't be much.
Also keep in mind that because Michigan hasn't played a conference schedule yet, its efficiency should stand to be better than we're not guaranteed. It could continue to rise, but if it drifts just a little bit down once it has more consistent, difficult competition, keep that in mind as well. Yeah. But yes, Michigan would be the favorite team against any other team on a neutral floor right now. That's indisputable. And they are now, you had this in your top 25 and 1, and I didn't realize it was to this level. And this will almost certainly change. But as things stand right now, just to give you an idea of where, again, the predictive forecast staff, Michigan is a comfortable favorite to win the national championship as we sit here on a Sunday night.
Yeah, at plus 450 to win the title right now, according to FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. After that, it is Arizona and Duke at plus 1,000. So there's at plus 1,000. And then you've got Iowa State and UConn, I believe, at plus 1,100. So there's a pretty big gap between Michigan and everybody else. Like I wrote in the top 25 and 1, that doesn't prove that Michigan is better than Arizona or anybody else. It's just data that we're referencing. But this is true. Michigan's the favorite to win the national championship right now. Michigan is number one in most computers right now. And if Michigan were on a neutral court against anybody right now, it would be the favorite. Doesn't mean they got to be number one. Like I wrote, hey, if you insist based on body of work, it should be Arizona. I'm not even arguing with you. I hear you. It's fine. But I can make the argument the other way as well. There's no wrong answer here. Somebody on Twitter suggested 1A, 1B. I don't do it like that, but it's fine with me. Arizona, Michigan should be 1-2 in every human poll at this point, in whatever order the human doing it wants it to be.